Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dugs on Twitch. Back today with a bit of a spicy one. So we're playing a green-white Maverick deck with Fiend Artisan, which is a new card from Ikoria. It's kind of like a mini birthing pod slash Green Sun Zenith. So it's a 1/1 for, in this case, 2 green. Fiend Artisan gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. And then for X, a green, tapping it and sacking another creature. You can search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less, put it onto the battlefield and then shuffle your library, and you can only activate this at any point as a sorcery, which is kind of a letdown, but I'm not too sure how broken this would be at instant speed, so we're going to try it out anyway. I think I'll try it out as a green-white shell tonight, and then maybe on Sunday as a green-white-black shell, because I think there are some good silver bullets like Plague Engineer that could probably be really good in a deck like this. But other than Fiend Artisan and a few creature targets, I haven't really changed up Green-White Maverick for what it's kind of known for. We have dropped the Once Upon a Times, we have dropped the Stoneforge Mystic package, but otherwise the core is still there. The 4 Knights, the Green Suns, the Thalias, the Mums, the Swords. And then it's really just a collection of some pretty cool 1-drops, or silver bullets. So here we have Hex Drinker as a nice 1-drop if we're wanting something aggressive pretty early on. Collector Ouphe is really nice. Against some of the combo decks where Gadok just has kind of fallen out of favor. Collector Ouphe also just having a really nice kind of grasp across the format, also hitting decks like Death and Taxes that Gadok wouldn't usually hit, which is cool. So we'll see what's happening there. Scavenging Ooze is of course just a great 1-drop. A little bit kind of fights the graveyard with Fiend Artisan, but I think there's a lot of application for Scavenging Ooze right now, and I think it will always be a silver bullet unless something really big happens. Scryb Ranger, really nice, especially with Fiend Artisan. You can actually get 2 activations off at a turn if you wish. You can also get extra activations off Mum and Knight, and then save your lands from Wasteland, which is kind of cool. Pridemage I like right now over Night of Autumn in the main deck, just because you can use it at instant speed, so you can actually apply it during your opponent's turn and maybe destroy something, like an equipment at sort of activation cost or in attack phase. Voice of Resurgence is an interesting one. I doubled up on it because I want to see it and see how it performs. It's also quite nice with Fiend Artisan because I want to be doing more than just sacking a creature for a creature. I'm trying to find some creatures within Maverick that we can play that'll give us a little bit more value. So Voice, of course, allows us to sack Voice. We then get a creature out of the deck, and then we also have the token left over, which is kind of cool, which we can also use for Fiend Artisan again. Maverick also a deck with, of course, a lot of creatures, so the token itself is going to be pretty big, which is really nice. Voice actually seems pretty good as well in a format right now with a lot of Lightning Bolt, a lot of Delver, a lot of Fatal Push, a lot of Punishing Fire in some of the lands decks, so Voice should be pretty interesting to play with. Renegade Rallier is another one that's just there for a lot of the value kind of play. So when it comes in with Revolt, if a permanent I control left the battlefield this turn, I can return a permanent from the graveyard to the battlefield with a converted mana cost 2 or less. So that includes lands as well. So you can do something like turn 1 Noble Hierarch, turn 2 play a fetch, play Renegade Rallier, trigger, get back the fetch, play another 1-drop. It's really nice as well because, of course, with Fiend Artisan, if a creature left the battlefield like a Voice, we can get it back with Renegade Rallier. So that would be pretty sweet. We'll see how that goes. Ramunap I think is really nice. We also have a little bit of synergy with Fiend Artisan because you can get back Dryad Arbor each turn to sack to the Fiend Artisan to then go and get something bigger. And then I've actually gone with 2 big 4-drops just because I wanted to have a little bit more of a higher curve with this. So Shifting Ceratops great against the blue decks, great against Oko, can't be countered of course. It's got protection from Icewind Quaddle, Baleful Strix. It's just quite hard to beat for some decks. In many ways acting like a Trinium Nemesis. So we'll see how that performs. And then of course Questing Beast is really nice. I did also go for a few white one-ofs, so Palace Jail as just extra removal in the main deck I think is quite nice. Especially when we can find it with Fiend Artisan. And then Prelate. Prelate's nice because I do find a lot of Maverick decks moving down to 3 Thalias, 3 Mums. And I feel like Prelate can act as both a tax and protection. So again, something like Delver, you can name one, and of course you're hitting Lightning Bolt, Ponder, Brainstorm, Preordain perhaps. Against Loam decks, you can really shut them down by hitting Punishing Fire and Loam on 2. But then, if you're wanting to play around any sort of removal, you can also name that, which is great. Of course, Gadok Teeg isn't that great with things like Oko and Dead of Winter in the format, but Prelate on 3 of course stops both of those, including Teferi as well, so against the Snow decks it'll be interesting to see how Sanctum performs. The mana base is pretty normal, no big changes here. It's really a case of just seeing how these cards go. Yeah, Pseudo-Potting, hoping to get a little bit of value off these types of creatures, and then of course things like Ramunap and Dryad Arbor, but those are situations where the decks are going to be really grindy, and I think Maverick already performs pretty well on the grind. So it's going to be interesting to see how this deck performs against some of the faster combo decks, and if we can actually grind them out. Marrow Shards is a card I've always wanted to try as a board wipe in green-white. It is quite specific to what it hates out, but I think it's actually quite good. So green-white can have some issues against things like Young Pyromancer, Elves. Sometimes in the mirror it can be a little bit tricky, but dealing 1 to each attacking creature is pretty nice, and hopefully it comes up. I kind of want to play something else, but I've always wanted to try it at least just to like say no or say it could work. Chalice and Deafening Silence, I think it is the best parts of Maverick against combo. Chalice really nice because it is a turn 1 play if you want to play it on 0. Comes in against a lot of matchups as well, and then Deafening Silence as well, another turn 1 play that really shuts down a lot of the fast Storm decks. Dryad Militant was really big during the Breach era, and I still think it's relevant against some of the Loam and Punishing Fire decks. It's also quite nice to keep Tarmogoyf down, but not your own Fiend Artisan. It's great against like Dreadhorde Arcanist, and a few other things. So we'll see if we do have a matchup where Dryad Militant is good, sorry. Otherwise, it's just a pretty effective creature for what it does. Surgical for Graveyard Hate and Turmon's Crib. Not too much to say about this. I could play a... I was going to actually change this to a Soul Guide Lantern, because I don't think the Tormod's Crypt costing 0 to play around something like Chancellor on the draw is as big as having the ability to actually draw a card off the Soul Guide Lantern if the exile effect on entry is enough. But that could be pretty interesting. Oh, hey Tyrone, welcome. 27th, interesting. Ah, classic, yeah. I usually, in the Facebook groups, I usually comment on a post I've already done, so I'm not spamming them every time I actually go ahead and do this. So that's pretty much it. We'll see how this goes. It should be pretty interesting. I don't think 1 league is enough. I think we'll probably put this through a few leagues, but it should be pretty fun. If you're wanting to find the deck list, you can find it in the Cardboard Live functionality. Otherwise, Green White Fiend, play points, nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that. I like Sylvan Safekeeper can be pretty nice as well, especially as number 4. It is still a human, which is a little bit rough because of Plague Engineer, but I think it's nice that Sylvan Safekeeper is a way to get protection through Green Sun Zenith. And also you can use it sometimes just to win out of nowhere with a Knight, if your opponent doesn't take into consideration that you can sack your lands at instant speed. Hey Jonat, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah, it should be pretty fun. I'm not too sure. The one thing about Fiend Artisan is that it's quite a nice threat still. In the early game, it's quite small. But there's probably going to be some times where we're probably just going for the traditional Green Suns for Knight, Green Suns for Ramunap, Green Suns for Questing Beast, instead of going for like Voice or Renegade Rallier or trying to set up Fiend Artisan. But I think it's nice to try them out and see how we go with them. Yeah, I actually really like that. I think Safekeeper of Fiend Artisan is really nice because if they don't see it coming, yeah, it works at instant speed as well. It doesn't have Summoning Sickness, so once it's on the field, it's on the field. If your opponent wants to bolt something, they have to do it in response to Fiend Artisan, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy to keep this. Pretty happy to keep the Windswept for as long as possible as well, for both Dryad Arbor and in case we draw into Sylvan Library and want to shuffle some cards away. Not too sure what Little Sparrow is up against, or is playing, sorry. Mox Diamond, okay. Reclaimer. Tabernacle. Oh, do you see what I see? Because I see what I see. Okay, we're going to pay for this, and then we're going to play our Collector Ouphe, and they're not going to be able to pay for their own Elvish Reclaimer, which is pretty funny. I guess they could have Simian Spirit Guide, but I think here they're just going to lose out on their Reclaimer, which is pretty funny. Karakas, okay. White mana. Not too sure what that is. And that's actually quite interesting. I wonder if I actually care more about the Karakas than the Tabernacle. Green Suns. So Green Suns next turn. If I wasteland them in their end step, we're definitely playing Wasteland. Definitely attacking for one. I'm going to assume my opponent is on like red-green lands. So I could take care of the Tabernacle to ease up some of our mana, but also hitting them off Karakas is pretty big. So our opponent can't go Exploration next turn off like a green source and then also cast, you know, Loam and Tabernacle. So if I do Wasteland here, I probably do want to do it here, because if I let them untap, play a green source, they could have crop rotation to hit to sack the land that we hit with Wasteland. So that's pretty interesting. I think I'm happy to Wasteland the Tabernacle first, and then try to Green Suns for Ramunap to then start going after their mana. But to do that, I need to get access to this bird and this Collector Ouphe and not have to keep paying for them. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a lock, which is nice. But yeah, there's some consideration there to Wasteland the Karakas because they might be light on mana, and the Tabernacle, of course, doesn't tap for mana. But I do like going after the Tabernacle because it just eases up your mana a lot, and you get to, you know, Green Suns or Skoos, which is pretty nice. So lands is going to be interesting. I don't think we need Thalias. Voice is pretty interesting. I kind of like it against the Punishing Fire plan because you still get a threat out. Shifting Ceratops is probably a goer as well. Let's look at what we want to bring in. I probably just want to bring in Surgical, Torments, and Dryad Militant because it hits both Loam and Punishing Fire. One nice thing about Punishing Fire is that if they Punishing Fire the Dryad Militant, the Punishing Fire resolves and goes to the graveyard and it gets exiled, and then state-based actions are checked, and that's when the Dryad Militant gets destroyed. So the first Punishing Fire that hits Dryad Militant actually gets exiled. It doesn't go to the graveyard. I think this is fine. Everything else looks pretty good here. Rallier seems fine. Chalice for 0 is a little bit iffy. I actually don't mind going up a path and down a sword. Especially if I'm going to be the beatdown. I don't really want to give my opponent 20 life if I have to. Wonder if that means I actually just want to go up on 2 path 2 sword. I don't mind that replacement. Hex Drink is interesting as well. Actually, Night of Autumn's definitely coming in. I think there's a lot of application for Night of Autumn. And I think it might be Hex Drinker. As good as it is, Blast Zone hits it, Maze of Ith hits it, unless it gets protection from everything, but I don't think I'm going to get to that stage, especially against lands where they hit your mana so hard. I can't even use Port mana off it in upkeep because that has to be done at sorcery speed, so might go down the Hex Drinker and then submit this 60. Hey Guru, welcome. Hope you're well. I think his hand is okay. It's a turn 1 Mum, turn 2 Ooze, turn 3 Knight, and we get to play around Wasteland the whole time, so I'm going to keep this. It doesn't have Graveyard Hate right now, but I think it might. And a Forest Pass is not too scary, which is great. Well, there's that Graveyard Hate. So I think here we might just go Snow Covered into Mum. And I'm not going to show the Torment's Crypt now. I'm going to pass. I don't think there's any reason to play it now. I'd rather see if they just play a land and cast a Loam, and then I can trade with that. Peatland Grove. Will they cast Loam? Sylvan Library, that's pretty good. Wasteland. Wasteland not the greatest here. I'd rather develop my board and actually just play out this Scavenging Ooze. Probably just pass here. Opponent probably in a position as well to draw at least one card off this Sylvan Library, so I'm going to expect them to go to at least 15. Force of Vigor would have been great here. And definitely a card I considered, but I think with Fiend I just wanted to try to maximize as many creatures that I had in the 75. And Night of Autumn's also just a great card to Fiend Artisan into, get value, and then Fiend Artisan away. Or just, you know, get value off it, get an ETB trigger, trade with something, and then throw it away for something else. Big Think. Go to 15. Okay, I like it. Port. Bayou. Port's going to be a little bit annoying. Crop. Okay. Maybe Tabernacle. Okay. Interesting thing going for Tabernacle here because the port's now not doing anything. Night of Autumn. Okay, that's pretty nice. So let's attack. Ewit was a consideration, but I went for Renegade Rallier instead, just because it allows you to get that value straight onto the battlefield and into your hand. But I think there's definitely consideration for either. I'm going to cast the Torment's Crypt here, because I'm going to assume my opponent's going to tap down this Wasteland in my end step, so I'm going to have to go after this Tabernacle then. Definitely no reason not to tap down and use your port here. Unless you have double crop. Port on this. Okay. Well, I'm just going to go after the Tabernacle here. And if they have crop, they have crop. Okay, that's kind of nice. So here Torment's Crypt is pretty nice because it means that I can get rid of the Tabernacle if they cast Loam. And then eat the Loam in upkeep. Unless they have a cycle land. But yeah, Turn of Witness would be nice. It definitely sees play in some of the older builds, and then in something like I've definitely seen it before in Nick Fit. Oh yeah, I should have Jailer in the deck. I didn't. Yeah, I don't like it against a lot of the Icefen Quaddle decks. There's just so many elusive creatures, and even some of the Young Pyromancer decks, it's pretty bad against. But there are some decks like Lands where I really enjoy it. Usually they only have one threat, if that, in play. But yeah, we are playing one Palace Jailer in the main deck. Just as removal piece number 5. In case we need it in game 1, but I think most of the time it's not really needed. Yeah, pretty cool. Abrupt Decay on Scavenging Ooze. That's interesting. Kind of makes me feel like they have one card left being Grove, being a Punishing Fire. But I think that's fine. Because at least maybe I can catch it with this Tormod's Crypt if my opponent doesn't do anything with this Grove. Or they might just go for Punishing Fire here on the Skoos. This will be interesting to see what they hit. I assume it's going to be the Mum, and not just re-hit the Scavenging Ooze. Croxa? I haven't seen Croxa before. That's pretty interesting, but... Alright. Interesting. They went after the Skoos again. Huh. I guess they didn't want me to untap with both Tormod's Crypt and a green mana to eat the Punishing Fire and start the fight. So here I have some options. I think the best option is just going after the Sylvan Library, because my opponent has 0 cards in hand. They don't have a Loam online, and I think there's just like no real downside to that. My opponent is at 8, so I don't think they could use Sylvan Library as much as they want to. But funnily enough, this Tormod's Crypt is also just holding this Grove of the Burmwillows at bay because they can't really tap it unless we do something first. And this is looking really strong. And yeah, they're just going to concede. Okay. Pretty tough spot. They didn't find an early crop. We had like a nice start of Mum into Ooze. Tormod's Crypt, of course, played a lot of that. And then they got pretty aggressive with the Sylvan Library, but didn't really find anything with it. They obviously try to set up 2 removal spells to deal with the Skoos through Mum, which, you know, costs them 4 life at least, so that's pretty rough. Yeah, I could just wasteland the Grove and then make them do the first move, but pretty happy to take that one down. But also kind of did it with just like a normal Maverick start. We didn't see any of the cards that I'm trying out, which is a little bit sad, but can't be too unhappy. Playing on the play, which is nice. I think this hand is okay. Definitely can't be unhappy about it. So I'm going to keep this. I'm just going to do Windswept Heath into Verdant. And then we can keep this Windswept Heath for either basic, if we need a basic. Hey Jack, are you guys playing? You guys are playing Paper Legacy down in Melbourne, or is it a few more weeks? I'm sure you definitely have a few players who are keen for it, at least. I'm playing Modern? Okay. Are you still playing Bant in Modern? Windswept Heath. Oof, okay. Interesting. Green Suns, okay. So this is an interesting situation because if I don't care about the early game, I can just keep this Swords for an actual threat and then deal with the Dryad Arbor later down the line with this Knight of the Reliquary, which I think is a pretty good play. I don't think it's worth using the Swords on the Dryad Arbor. But there's some little things, like my opponent went for a basic Forest into Dryad Arbor, So maybe they have a land light hand and they don't want to get wastelanded early on by getting a Savannah. But I think it's okay just to leave this swords for now. I'm definitely getting a forest. Sorry, I'm definitely getting a plains here. I don't really want to get wastelanded myself early on, so I'm gonna get the plains out of the deck before I draw, because I don't want to draw it. And that's not too bad. Now I don't mind just playing Thalia. This could also be Elves, to be fair. Yeah. Alright. 4.5 color? Blood Moon in the sideboard. Very nice. I guess you also have Astrolabes, which can do it. Quirion Ranger. Okay. Well, that's pretty scary. Yes. I wonder if they have Heritage Druid. That'd be kind of scary. Wirewood. Okay, still pretty scary. I think Wirewood's gonna be the swords target. Oof. All right. We don't have too much for Elves, unfortunately. Another Thalia is probably the worst draw we could have. I don't think we can let them have the Wired. I think I just have to deal with this right now. Yeah, Knight's interesting. Unfortunately, I'm not playing Blast Zone, which would be very cool here. I think you definitely could in a green-white mana base, but I'm just not playing it in this list. But yeah, I think if I swords here, I'm playing not to lose, and I don't think that's the correct decision. I think I should be playing to win, and if I'm going to win this game, it's going to be with Knight. So I think we should just go for Knight here. Yeah, slowing them down could definitely be the case. Which, yeah, I guess it is a lot different as well, because I did assume this was going to be Maverick, or at least a lot more than it was going to be Elves. I think the Dryad Arbor is less important for a Maverick start than it is for an Elf start, which is kind of rough. But that is fine. I don't think it's worth attacking here. Maybe it is. My opponent can just block with an Elf and then return it with a Wirewood, but there's not really a good Elf to attack with. I think it's fine. Can they actually block with Nettle Sentinel and Elvish Reclaimer, and then when I assign damage to the Nettle Sentinel, return it with Wirewood? Is that going to happen? Yeah, I thought this was coming. Oh, they can't do that? Okay. Well, I don't mind this. I don't mind trading the Nettle Sentinel. The Reclaimer, at least it comes in tapped. Yeah, of course. I'm thinking very old terms. Okay. Interesting. Return the quiet. Alright. A little second glimpse. Probably means they found a cradle. Or a heritage druid. Kind of scary. Unfortunately, Maverick doesn't have too much for Elves. The Black Splash definitely helps because you have Plague Engineer, and in red you can cast Fiery Confluence, which isn't too bad. You can at least, I guess at best you can 5-for-1 your opponent, but yeah, green-white doesn't have too much. And a lot of the time, I really want to be... Okay, interesting. Fiery Justice, sorry. Green Suns. Green Suns is interesting. I guess maybe like Green Suns for Fiend Artisan to try to get Prelate for 4 to stop Natural Order, but I think that's a little bit too slow. Questing Beast is interesting. Can also Swords the Quirion Ranger here. No, but then the Wirewood. Huh. The Shards is just like a way to deal with Young Pyromancer is a big one. And then you can sometimes get other creatures, but I did think before I put it in, I thought it was just, it deals 1 damage to all creatures, not attacking creatures. And as good as it seems maybe against Elves, a lot of the time if they're attacking with like a Cradle Hoof trigger, so it doesn't really apply. We're definitely playing a land. I think we're definitely going for Swords on Wirewood. Especially while the Elvish Visionary is out. What am I green sunning for? That's the big one. I can try to just Wasteland and Upkeep as well to make them return this with Quiet. I think I'm just playing the second night here. I can also go for Cradle and play both Knight and Thalia, which is interesting, especially because it stops my opponent just having land into Glimpse. They have to have Cradle. Maybe that's just better. Yeah, I think it is. They did make the trade before for 1 Elf and Thalia, so I think the second one's pretty good here. Float white. Sack this. Get Cradle. Play Knight. Pass. Now we do have lethal next turn if they don't block, because we can have some... Oh, there's Cradle. It's I think it's all attacking creatures. Let me quickly find it here. Marrow Shards is deal 1 damage to each attacking creature. So yeah, I don't mind it against some of the smaller decks, and against... I've seen a lot of Goblins online, and I'm not a big fan of playing against Goblins, so I think Marrow Shards isn't the worst, especially if you target their lords. And you know, you can also get something like a Lackey or... Yeah, it's pretty cool because you can cast it for 0, so you can, you know, get people, but I'm not sure it's worth the slot. It is nice because it is a board wipe, but it's pretty light sort of term. Can we survive this? There are only 6/6s. but that does seem to be enough, right? Yeah. So they all have trample. Yeah. We even had it next turn because we could Green Suns for Scryb Ranger, attack with both knights, and then before damage untap them, or untap one, sack a land and wasteland ourselves to make them 10/10s. But there's not a way that we can stay alive here. I did the math. Close. Sideboarding is going to be pretty interesting. Pridemage can come out. Collector Ouphe can come out. Ceratops can come out. Palace Jailer is interesting, but probably not worth it. I don't mind. We'll try Marrow Shards. The parts are probably okay. The Chalices are interesting and maybe worth it, but I might just have them as a just in case. The issue with Chalices is that it's probably best on 1 against Elves, maybe 2, and a lot of our removal is on 1. So once it's down, it's down. So I'm actually not too sure about that. Yeah. Yeah, Mirren's actually pretty nice. I do like Mirren. Palace Jailer can be great, it can be bad though. Palace Jailer is rough because they can go wide so early. But I think it's okay because sometimes games 2 and 3 can go to kind of stalemates. So having a board where you're drawing a card each turn is probably good. I don't mind going down on a Thalia. Voices are probably not where I want to be either. Then it might just be Hex Drinker. I think this is okay. Yeah, especially because we're bringing in so many non-creature spells. Maybe Thalia is just not where I want to be. And maybe I just want to have something like... probably either Knight or Qasali. Just in case they have something like Sylvan Library, I do want to have some sort of answer to it. If they think this is going to be a grindy game. I think it might be Knight, just because it can also be a 4/3, which is relevant. Probably more relevant than the Exalted. I need one more. Yeah, it's going to be... Maybe it is just one Thalia. I don't mind this. Yeah, Hex Drink is interesting. Hex Drink is a nice mana sink if we don't have anything else to do. I'd love to play first. And this hand is interesting. Turn 1 Zenith. Having both Questing Beast and Knight is a little bit rough. We do have kind of 2 pieces of removal. I think there is a better 6. We're pretty far off casting Questing Beast and even Knight, unless we draw a land, but I'm gonna mulligan this. This is better. I'll keep this and drop 1 Knight. I'm just gonna go Savannah into Green Suns. Oh! Whew. Knight's going to the bottom. There we go. Okay. That would have been pretty bad. Turn 1 Mum is interesting, but I think here I just want to build up my mana. Getting this Knight out turn 2 would be pretty nice, especially if they're starting like a Bayou. Conspicuous Snoop seems really good. I don't think they need to have... I think even without the ability to take the activated ability of the top card, even just be able to play goblins from the top of your library is enough. So to have that extra part is just so big. I don't want to Wasteland here, because if I don't draw a land next turn, we're quite far behind. So I think here I just want to go Wasteland into Knight. Yeah, it's really good, especially the just sheer card advantage, especially with Aether Vial as well. Just so good. And you do have a few ways to manipulate top of your library. This is going to be pretty rough. Full mana. Still full mana. Can still natural order? Rough. Maybe Swordsing the Dryad Arbor was correct. Progenitus is pretty good. Sadly, I don't think I can do this. There's like a way that I can Swords my own Knight, but I don't think I can get through all the damage needed. So I can play the Knight and the Mum, or I can play the Knight and Wasteland the Cradle. Wasteland Cradle doesn't really do anything because they already have the 2-turn clock. Turning into a 1-turn clock isn't that different. So if I play another Knight... 6/6. So if I play another Knight, I take 10 and go to 8. We can untap. The Knights will be 4/4s. If we draw Wasteland, they're 8/8s. If we draw Scryb Ranger, we can do shenanigans with Mum. There's probably a line, but I think it means that I have to play Mum this turn as well. And just lose to another natural order. Because Scryb Ranger gives me double activations of either Mum or Knight. Yeah. Can't play around the second natural order. Because, yeah, I guess, like, if we draw into... Yeah, Marrow Shards doesn't do anything. I was thinking if we untap and we draw into Scryb Ranger... We can, yeah. It's tough. It's just one of those matchups where you can't put too much energy into siding for it, because it's just quite hard to deal with. That is fine. But yes. Oh yeah, that's true. I would have used Knight. That's very true. Yeah, so Scryb Ranger does it because we can make the Knights. We can fetch for another land. We could wait. Actually, we can get a Wasteland. So then we could Wasteland ourselves twice, which is 4, which makes them 8/8s. And then we could attack with both Knights. Untap 1 before damage. I guess no, because you need to use the Scryb Ranger for pro green on both. Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. I don't think it's possible, unfortunately. But that's cool. This hand is interesting. I think his hand is kind of a trap. Worst case is like Noble dies and they Wasteland Horizon Canopy. 3 green suns is just a little too much. I'd rather actually have a bit more of a plan and just want to like 1 green suns, maybe 2 as utility in case I want to transition my hand to hate on combo or get a knight really fast. This is a little bit better. I'm going to keep it and mull the Shifting Ceratops. Prismatic Vista. Just what I want to see when I see double Wasteland. Okay, going for Savannah Pass. I don't think my Prismatic Vista opponent would be on Wasteland, so I don't mind leading on Savannah. Delta. Makes me think my opponent has removal for Thalia if they're not going to do anything in response. Swords into Oko is definitely what I don't want to see, especially if we stumble next turn. Oh. Oh. No, no, no. Okay. Probably the Ramunap here that I don't really care about. So that can be a 3/3 for now. Yeah, stealing a knight is pretty bad. Stealing a Ramunap is probably just as worse. Gonna play this pre-combat in case I have an Ice Fang. They can just cast it now, but... yeah. I think we just have to save time and go to game 2, unfortunately. Just Swords into Oko into Ice Fang is just a little bit too hard, especially for our slow start. But we do have some cool cards. Knight can come in, Mirren can come in. I don't think Surgical's worth it. I don't mind Chalice. It is just a 3/3. But I don't mind it. I do like taking out Palace Jailer. I do like dropping down at least 1 Swords. Hey, we are currently 1-1. We got up against lands and we lost to elves. Maybe it's Ramunap. I think Ramunap can probably go out. We do have Renegade Rallier if we want to get a land back. I'm not too scared of Uro, especially with Swords to Plowshares and Scavenging Ooze. Dryad Militant's interesting. Dryad's not too bad against Uro and also Snapcaster. Prelate's pretty good. Questing Beast is still fine. Collector Ouphe's still okay. Fiend can probably come down. I can actually probably drop a Wasteland, to be fair. And probably just a Fiend. I don't mind this. Turn 1 Hex, turn 2 Sylvan Library. Yeah, some cool one-ofs, especially with Fiend Hunter in the list. So we'll see how it goes. Snowko does seem a little bit rough. Astrolabe is fine. Astrolabe is fine. Wonder if that makes me want a Green Suns for Collector Ouphe. I'm just gonna pay for... I might stay at 16 and just put back the Savannah. Keep the Wasteland. I'd rather use the 4 life for something else if I can. Yeah, Astrolabe's tough. I really like Collector Ouphe as an answer because you're not trading a card for it. They have to deal with the Collector Ouphe first. Well, there's their blue source, which is pretty tough. Okay, interesting. Oh, Voice is kind of cool. What do I want to do here? I definitely want to cast the Voice and then have 1 mana left over. So I could play the Wasteland and hold up Scryb Ranger. I could play out the Ooze. I think it's the Prelate that I'm not paying for, but I do want to pay just to dig a little bit deeper. It was a short-lived victory. I do like that. His Voice. At least if they have an Ice Fang, I do have the swords. Okay. I didn't mean to click there. I should have swords first. But... And I don't want to attack and then like hold priority and swords this, because if they have to counter magic, it's just brutal. So I might just go Wasteland and hold up Scryb Ranger. I don't mind that. Yeah, Dead of Winter would be pretty brutal, but at least the voice would stick around. Look, probably a swamp, yeah. Okay, alright. This is probably fine. Oh, attacking me, interesting. That's gonna be fine. Because now we can cast this Scryb Ranger, untap, swords the Icewind Quaddle, and hopefully kill the Oko, but it's tough. My opponent also has swords here, yeah. Hey Rob, hope you're well. Yeah, currently Snowko's a pretty uphill battle. I can get there with Questing Beast off the top. We do have Sanctum Prelate and then 2 more cards. Wasteland. Not what I want to see. Put on top, put on... Yeah, put on top. Maybe it's actually... So I'm definitely casting swords this turn. Could go with Dryad Arbor, because we can return it with the Scryb Ranger if needed. Yeah, I don't mind Dryad Arbor. I kind of need the blocker as well right now, because next time it's probably taking 6, so that's pretty rough. The rough thing as well is that I can't overcommit here. I can't play Ooze as well, because then I just get crushed by Dead of Winter. The annoying thing is that these plays by my opponent have been perfect, and it's because the deck is just so consistent. It's not like a case of being salty and being like, oh, they had the answer every turn. It's because the deck is literally built to do this. Like, they just always have something, because every card they play is at least replacing itself or getting value other than just by itself. So here I guess we have to block. And then return this. Yeah, it's definitely the scissors to our paper, which is not the greatest feeling. Are these snow creatures? These don't even die to Dead of Winter? What the fuck? What the fuck? Rough. I really just need to draw a card here, and then dig deeper with this. I need to fight Questing Beast. Questing Beast is my only out. Green Suns doesn't do it. But gets me close. I think the big thing is them just untapping Dead of Winter, swing for 6. So maybe I have to play Ooze here instead of the Knight. But then I don't have a second green source to even eat anything. No, okay, let's... Yeah. I think the best play is to... I mean, if they have Ice Fang, they have Ice Fang, but I need to definitely try to kill the Oko. Yeah, the basics are rough. I mean, I think the play here is to attack Oko for lethal, and then if it resolves, second we can cast Ooze, return the forest to our hand, untapping Ouphe, and then play the forest again to have green mana up for Ooze. Yep. Maybe Knight of Autumn's what I want to do here. Can at least see. There's the Force. Rough. Just outvalued. 100% just outvalued. Nothing we could do. But yeah, rough. Especially when I... you know, obviously Thalia... I think Maverick's most broken play is turn 2 Thalia and Wasteland against a lot of decks, but... obviously just couldn't do it. Yeah, Knight of Autumn was just buy a turn, which is buying 7 mana, or 6 mana, sorry, 6 life. Which at least allows me to untap another turn, but yeah, it's tough. Just not a winning position at all. Yeah, the tough thing with Fiend Artisan is that Maverick already does really well to grind to the mid game, that we don't really need the added ability to then search for more things. Flow true. Okay. This hand is okay. Pretty cool, like having the turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Scryb Ranger and Cradle. Ah, Eldrazi. Oh, don't have a great hand for Eldrazi. Yeah. Okay. So don't cast these. I think this makes me have to go and get Dryad Arbor. Yeah. I can't beat this. I might as well try to hide that I'm not playing Maverick, even though I played Windswept Heath. Thalia can come out. Path can come in. Knight of Autumn's pretty good. Everything else is pretty mediocre. Shifting Ceratops is nice. Prelate can probably come out. Voice is interesting. I don't mind Voice. Mums can probably come down. Maybe Prelate's okay. Prelate for 7 is usually fine. Yeah, Mirren is pretty good, especially the first strike. We're kind of just filling up here. Dryad Militant's interesting, but probably not where I want to be. I don't actually just mind 2 mums, because at worst they're trading with Eldrazi Mimic, and at best they're keeping some of our cards from being dismembered. So I don't think mum is as dead against this colorless deck as you might think. It also is just nice, easy mana for Cradle as well. Yeah, Thalia's interesting. The first strike is quite good, but most of the time you don't really need the first strike. This end is pretty good. I'm going to keep this. A little bit heavy on lands, but I really want this Sylvan Library to resolve. And Sylvan Library is probably pretty hard for my opponent to deal with on turn 2 outside of Ratchet Bomb down the road. I definitely wouldn't say they're white-green with plows. Especially after their start of just Ancient Tomb, Chalice into another land. Let's go for this. This definitely feels like a turn 2 Thought-Knot. I think a standard list is still just straight colorless. I wouldn't say that a standard list is going to be green-white. I kind of want to draw a land here because then they can't take anything. Ugh. Okay. Pretty good, but at least it's not one of the cards that I want from Green Suns. Palace Jailer. Pretty good, but Smasher next turn just laughs at Palace Jailer, so I need to get this Knight down. Wonder if I even want to pay. I probably don't. Hey, Force of Williams, thank you very much. A pleasure, and I really appreciate you coming in. Yeah, Prelate's interesting. Maybe I don't need the Prelate, and I think I'm probably keeping the Canopy for now, so I probably will fetch away, but I kind of want to keep... I'm pretty sure I can put Prelate on top and then Palace Jailer on top, and then I can draw the Palace Jailer and then fetch before the Library, but maybe not. I guess we'll see. This is where Dismember would be pretty rough. Ah, 22 for Legacy, that's very good. That's awesome. We've had 12 and 11 in Brisbane, which is cool. Which still, yeah, still pretty happy with. I think 12 and 11 for Legacy during this pandemic is pretty good. But yeah, hope you're well. Hope everything else over in Perth is doing okay. Yeah, I think our events are capped at something smaller. Yikes. I think I just take this 10. There's no great blocks. Draw the Jailer, trigger on the stack, we can fetch. See some new cards. Just get another Savannah. Swords? Scryb Ranger. Scryb Ranger's kind of cool. Put on top. Pay? Can I pay? We can pay. We can pay. We can do some shenanigans this turn. Yeah, we're paying. Yeah, because we can go double Wasteland with Scryb and also Jailer, which is pretty sweet. How do I want to do this? I think I just want to play Palace Jailer, Cradle, Scryb Ranger. Jailer, take the Smasher. Scryb. Play Cradle. Probably to sack a Savannah. Get Wasteland. Waste your Ancient Tomb. Scryb Ranger, untap, return the Savannah. Tap this Forest, Wasteland. Hit your eye. And pass back. That's that mum. Yeah, double Wasteland Jailer is pretty good. I could have done it in upkeep, but I think this is okay. Yeah, the worst that could happen is like maybe Soul Land Spirit Guide, Thought Knot. That's about it. Attack for 4, which means I have to probably trade with just put the Palace Jailer in front of it, but we're looking pretty good other than that. The one thing that I also just like about Mum and Thalia is that maybe Thalia is a little bit better because of Chalice as well, especially on the draw. I don't want to have too many 1-drops in, and I don't mind the first strike. Marrow Shards is also really interesting. Marrow Shards is pretty funny with Mimic, but otherwise it's pretty dead. Let's be honest. Yeah, I'm not going to bring in Marrow Shards. We're not doing this. Yeah, Eldrazi on the play is much different to Eldrazi on the draw, unfortunately. I still think that the deck is really well positioned against Eldrazi, especially being another Reliquary deck with Wasteland and Swords Plowshares and a bunch of other creatures that are tending to be bigger than theirs, but I think this is okay. I don't think Marrow Shards is where I want to be, but it would just be so fun, but I think the Thalias are just better here, unfortunately. This hand is okay. The issue is that it does nothing against a turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Thought-Knot, because then they can just take the Qasali Pridemage. But I don't mind it. Yeah, not sure if it's good otherwise either. I think this hand is okay. I don't think I can play around Chalice for one. And I think if I am, this hand is pretty close to it, because I can just throw these creatures away and build up the Fiend Artisan, so I'm going to keep this. It is kind of nice to keep a hand with like a Swords to Plowshares at least, but all my mana's unlocked. It's not looking too bad here. Yeah, it seems like a reasonable hand. I'm just wondering if, I guess it depends on what my opponent does, but if we get to go turn 1 Mana Dork and then untap, what's our turn 2? Is it Mana Dork and Qasali? Fiend Artisan? Probably the creature that I want to get out of the way of like a Fiend Hunter first. Sorry, Thought-Knot. Temple. Okay, that's not too bad. Probably don't care about Wasteland here, so I might just go for Savannah first into Noble Hierarch. The Exalted is a little bit better than Birds. They revealed a Brushland from the Once Upon a Time. Maybe they have Displacer? Okay. That's a bit of an issue if they also have Containment Priest, which I definitely wouldn't say they don't. What do we get? Oh, Wasteland's pretty good. I definitely want to play Wasteland. And then we have 2 mana. I think it's just Pridemage. We're definitely doing Wasteland. There's no second guess about that. And we're definitely hitting, I believe, the Temple, because it just puts Thought-Knot back that extra turn. But now it's a case of these, which is interesting. I think it's the Pridemage. I do like holding Pridemage, and I guess because of the Eldrazi Temple being dealt with, I'm not too scared of... yeah, I'm not too scared of Thought-Knots here. Fiend Artisan online is pretty interesting as well, because we could play it, and then next turn with Cradle, we're pretty close to getting a... yeah, pretty close to getting a creature out of it. At least a good creature, like Knight. I think it's gonna be... it's gonna be Fiend. Creature only gets better. I'd love to see like another soul land. Oh wow, no lands. Oof. Okay. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh. I don't think Wasteland is even that great here. I think we can do more with Cradle. One, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1. Ooh. That's interesting. I think we can get... If we play Cradle, play Bird, we then have 4 mana to play with, which means we can go and get Ramunap Excavator. So we can go get Renegade Rallier and get back Wasteland, which also gives us a 3-power creature to deal with the Eldrazi Displacer. I think that's probably the best play, because then it also just widens our board as well. Which works, right? Play Bird off Noble, we have 1 mana up, we then have 3 mana off Cradle, which is 4 total. So we can put 3 into the X, 1 into the green, tap it, sack the bird. I believe that's good. Yeah. Cradle, Bird, 3, 4, tap, pay 4, done. We're sacking this bird. Nice. We're going to get Renegade Rallier. The bird left so we can get back the Wasteland. Nice. Okay, get the Wasteland. And I'm just going to go after this Brushland. I think that's okay. Whew. Nice. Ah, nice. Haha. There we go. That's the line. That's the line you want. Very cool. I think that was probably the best. You could go for Knight as well, but I think just getting back the Wasteland at instant speed is really nice. So that was pretty sweet. Pretty cool. All right, 2-2. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in 1 second. Nice. All right. It would be good to finish this at 3-2. And that has actually gone pretty fast. So we might just run back another league. To be fair, we might trade out the Marrow Shards. I might try to think of something else for the Marrow Shards. So if you guys have anything in mind that could take up those 2 spots, let me know. That would be very cool to know. Like Declaration in Stone is interesting. There's a few cards that I was thinking of. Warping Well, I guess, doesn't really work because we don't have so many colorless sources. Wing Shards is kind of cool, but not cool. Yeah, Third Path could just be it, to be fair. I might even do something like a Canonist in the deck because of Fiend Artisan. A Deafening Silence effect that you can find is pretty sweet. Yeah, Council's Judgment's also pretty nice. It's pretty great against Uro, Oko. Yeah, definitely a few things. I haven't seen a lot of Sneak around. Ah. There we go. Thanks, Jack. A Stepmom. Yeah, maybe a Sylvan. I was actually thinking of a Sylvan Safekeeper, which Kaylan42 brought up that he played against, which is pretty sweet because you can find it off a Fiend Artisan, and it works straight away. You don't have to wait the one turn to start giving protection to things, which is kind of cool. I think that maybe a Blast Zone in the sideboard would be kind of cool. There are some decks where I want to bring it in. The only issue is that, of course, with the Fiend Artisans, my deck is a lot more permanent based, especially creatures, so Blast Zone probably has more effect on my board than most other Maverick versions, but it could be pretty interesting. Hey, shout out to Quillex, who subbed with Prime 7 days ago. That is very cool. A huge thank you for that. Very nice. Also, Sleep Talk. Mr. Boyd. Kazurban Hype. Classic. Ah, we're on 2-2 as well, aren't we? Alright. Yeah, this will be interesting. I think there's some flex spots here. I kind of wanted to fit in a 5-drop, but I couldn't think of any good ones. Sigarda is kind of cool, but with a lot of Ice Fangs and Baleful Strixes around, it's not the greatest. Maybe not even Baleful Strixes, just Ice Fangs. It's quite tough against. Thrun's kind of cool as well, but it doesn't allow us to play around things like... Oh, Dragon Lord Dramoka. I was going to say Dead of Winter. Do I have a Dragon Lord? I don't. Huh, interesting. Titania is actually pretty cool. Titania is interesting as well because you get your land back, which could be Dryad Arbor. Yeah. It does die to Ice Fang. I guess a lot of stuff dies to Ice Fang. I can't keep that. Anything pro blue or green at that CMC. For pro blue, there is Shifting Ceratops. And at 3 mana, there's Great Stable Sag, which I believe has pro black and blue. But at the top, I don't think there really is anything. I was even going to try out like a spider of some sort. That'd be kind of cool. I'm going to play against Slod. This is fine. Turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Prelate or Knight, or even Screws if we need it. So I'm going to keep this. Pretty happy to keep the fetch land for now as well. I guess the one reason that I might want to fetch here for a Savannah is that if we draw into another fetch land, we can play the Knight on turn 2 as a 4/4, which means it can't be bolted. But I assume if my opponent has bolt, they're probably going after the Noble Hierarch. Opponent goes to 6. I'm okay with Snow Covered into. I think the Verdant could also just be a lot better if we draw into something like Sylvan Library, and say there's a bunch of Swords to Plowshares on top and we're playing against Storm. I don't want to pay the life for them, so I'd rather just shuffle them away. Titania in EDH seems pretty cool. I guess she was an EDH card, so that makes a lot of sense. Well, it's going to be Esper Vile. Oh, okay. Huh. Well then. I wonder if Prelate on 1 is where I want to be. Prelate on 1 and then just Hex Drinker all the way? Prelate on 1. I believe Esper Bears plays Brainstorm, Ponder, and Swords to Plowshares. So here's a pretty stock. 4 Brainstorm, 1 Ponder, 3 Swords. Yeah, I don't mind that. It does turn off our own swords, but I think that's okay for now. How do I pick my deck lists? I don't know. I usually try to mix it up, but if we do like a 4-1 or a 5-0, I might keep the same list and then just play it till I lose with it, which is usually pretty quickly. But yeah, it's usually nice. I mean, Maverick definitely has 3 distinct, if not 4, different groups. There's green, white, red, green, white, black, and then also like 4 color or band. So it's pretty good in that regard. I get to stream a lot of different Maverick decks and appeal to different people. I think Knight here is just better. I think Knight into Wasteland is just so good. Especially if we can draw into a Green Suns to answer this Aether Vial. We might be able to get some sort of lock with like Collector Ouphe and Prelate. But this is going to be a tough matchup. There's so much value off Esper Bears. Cavern. Stoneforge. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Oh, okay. Interesting. This is going to be a Cephalid Breakfast. So what does that mean that I want to name with... So Cephalid Breakfast is a little bit different. Maybe I want to keep the Skoos up. This is from July. Brainstorm, Cabal Therapy, Ponder. Dread Return is 4. I think my best plan here is try to get this Ooze online. Because, let's quickly see. Shuko is 1 to cast and 0 to equip. Huh. And they can put in their creatures for free here, pretty much. So I think maybe the play is Prelate for Dread Return, which is 4. That's probably the best play. I think, yeah, because... So here's an instant Decktech. So what it does is it has this guy, which is 0 redirect 1 damage from Nomads in Core to a creature you control. It also plays Illusionist, that whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability, you mill the top 3 cards of your library. So with Shuko, which is 0 to equip, each time you equip for free to the Illusionist, it mills 3. So you get to mill your deck. And once you mill your deck, you have Narcomoeba triggers, and then you can sack all of them to a Dread Return to bring back a few creatures. I think usually it wins now by Thassa's Oracle, but I could be incorrect. So I think the best play here is just to name 4 for Dread Return. And now I get to go Cradle, Skoos, and then also just play Hex Drinker. And then I think I just want to hold up here. Knight to have a green mana for Ooze and not Wasteland my opponent. It's tricky. I think I do want to Wasteland my opponent. Yeah. I think I want to Wasteland. I think the Prelate is keeping them off graveyard shenanigans, so I'd rather keep them off some sort of removal. And I think the best way to do that is by taking them off their Underground Sea. And they don't have a 1-drop, which is great for us. But I mean, if they have like Swords to Plowshares, then they just get there. Oh, they're gonna Ponder. Okay. Well, that's not too bad. There's Shuko. Huh. They're playing it. Okay. Karakas. I don't believe any of their creatures are legendary. pretty happy just to... They do have other ways, yes. Gonna keep 3 mana open for Skoos as well. Looks like they have Batterskull because they tried to put it in there. Haha, that's pretty funny. Huh. I guess there's no real 2-drops that I care about, so I probably could have attacked with both of these, but sometimes I play Grand Abolisher, which is in this list, so I don't want to, on the off chance, to get just in 2 extra damage, attack with a Prelate and then lose it. Interesting, they're going to block with the Stoneforge. That's okay. Interesting. This is going to be fine. Okay, there's the Illusionist. It does seem like a good sign, which is interesting, because it looked like they... maybe they were trying to block early. They don't have Batterskull in hand. They tapped the Stoneforge because they were trying to block instead. Interesting. End step, I'll definitely eat their Stoneforge. And then I'll definitely go get a Wasteland. Or will I get a Canopy? I think I'd rather draw a card. Just to see if I can draw into like Green Suns or Qasali Pridemage, or even Collector Ouphe. Verdant. Mum. Well, might as well see if we can get Hexproof on. I'll get a Hex Drinker online. Okay. Well, then we might as well just eat some stuff. Yeah, I was hungry for Legacy, so it's nice to finish with breakfast, I guess. I'm going to play a land, and I'm going to definitely attack. Probably with Night Skoos and Hex Drinker. Yeah. Just to really apply pressure, try to get a 2-turn clock going. Get a Brainstorm. Luckily they can't have Terminus. Maybe they're just trying to find something with the Vial. Which is kind of scary, because if they kill the Ooze, then it's just the Prelates that's sticking around. Hey, thanks Donut. Thanks for stopping by. I'll hopefully see you around sometime. Hopefully see you at Legacy sometime. That'd be very cool. Oh, please don't be true name. Recruiter. Recruiter's fine. I wonder if it's getting Palace Jailer. Jailer would be pretty solid, because it takes care of either the Prelate or the Ooze. Another Recruiter, okay. Probably just blocking the knight here. Yeah. Alright. No shenanigans. Play mum. Always. There we go. Hey Drew, thanks for stepping in. What type of Maverick are you currently building? What color combination? Nice to get game 1. Game 2 is usually pretty interesting because usually they sideboard into like a mid-range deck with true names, which is something I can't really beat outside of Questing Beast and Shifting Ceratops. I do like the Ouphe still. I don't mind I think the voices might not be the greatest here. Palace Jailer most likely not good enough. I do like Knight of Autumn. I do like Dryad Arbor actually. And this last one will be interesting. Ramunap could be overkill, but I think they do play a fair few jewels. Green, white, black, very cool, nice. That's it's definitely my jam as well. Dryad Miller for Dread Return seems really good. It might just be 2 surgicals over a wasteland. I think I like this. I don't believe they're going to be on their combo plan, but just in case, we do have surgicals, at least to extract some information. Chalice is interesting. Maybe Chalice is worth it. But if they get down an early threat, it's pretty hard to deal with. I don't think I can pass up this hand. The Canopy is a draw, and we have 2 removal. We don't have any gas, but I think this is okay. At least we have our mana online, which is nice. Ponder, okay. Mum. I still think here, just because a 3-drop on turn 2 is so good that I want to start with the birds, not the mum. And even if we don't draw anything, we still have Horizon Canopy and mum as a turn 2 play, which isn't the worst. Yeah, I think combo is their best plan as well, but I think they definitely can transition if they think we're going to over sideboard into the combo. Scryb Ranger. Scryb Ranger is pretty sweet. Play this, untap this, return this. Play this, play mum. Yeah, Abrupt Decay is a great reason to play black, and I think it's probably the main reason. I think Plague Engineer is up there as well, but Abrupt Decay is just so good when you want removal that you know isn't going to get hit by counter magic, which is really nice. And it's not too hard on the mana either. I find that Abzan has a pretty nice set of mana. I could definitely play the mum off second land. Yeah, that also means we can hold up Swords to Plowshares, which is probably correct. Fiend Artisan. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. What do we want to do here? We want to attack for 1. And then I'm just going to play Fiend Artisan. It's only a 1/1 currently, but if we can get Collector Ouphe, that would be pretty solid, especially with Mum already out. Or even Knight and start going after Wasteland. I guess we can kind of get both, which is pretty insane. Fiend Artisan with Scryb Ranger is also pretty fun. This is going to be interesting. Cabin. Plague Engineer? This is going to resolve. The name Human, okay. Another Fiend Artisan. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. So we can do X equals... I can go and get Knight of Autumn, which is pretty good. I think the bird has done enough, but I just want it so much. I can get 1 extra mana off this bird, but that's about it. That's okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It is pretty easy to get into once you have the mana base of something like Elves, because it's pretty close. But yeah, I like that a lot. Oh, there's Collector Ouphe. Okay. What do I want to do first? Can go and get another 3-drop. Get Renegade Rallier. I think Knight's just best here. Maybe it's just Collector Ouphe and Fiend. Yeah, I like Collector Ouphe and Fiend. If they want to block the Knight, that's fine. Oh, you don't? Okay. I might just let this happen. I might just hold up the swords just in case they have removal for the Collector Ouphe and then also have Shook in hand. They could be playing a little bit too preserved, but we also have Horizon Canopy here that we can use if they don't, so I'm not too unhappy. There's Nomads. Okay, so I think here we have to try to swords this. Okay. Oh, do we still have Jailer? Oh, we don't. Ah, rough. Canopy. Okay. A little bit sad we don't get to watch them combo off. Yeah, that's true. I do like getting Ooze here, so let's go 1, 2, 3. Sack the Knight, it's done enough. They can still combo off, but I think if we get Ooze here, it's okay. I can also, this is interesting, I can also ping them with Scryb Ranger if I want to. So if they try to go off with like Thassa's Oracle, I can get them to mill in response and then kill them. So here I'm going to untap the Fiend, return the Savannah. And then I think I'm happy to attack with all. Oh, interesting. It also has... It has pro blue, so maybe I can't even target it. I can? Okay, cool. Some protection is two ways, Jack. Recruiter? Another recruiter nearly does it. True name. That's gonna be okay. I probably want to draw a card here. Green Suns. That's kind of nice. Oh, there's Questing Beast. Nice. Can I Questing Beast? I don't think I can. Yeah, I don't think so, because like I can attack with Questing Beast for sure. But I think it's not lethal, and they could just win the following turn because I won't have Scooz up to eat something like Dread Return. Maybe the play is just to get in with... I actually don't mind green sunning for Qasali Pridemage, which gives me Exalted with Scryb Ranger, and then Exalted the following turn with Questing Beast. But that at least gives me an out to Shuko, and it also leaves me a green mana for Scooz. Because I've already played a land, haven't I? Yeah, I played the Savannah. So I don't think I want to tap out because they might win on their turn. The beat does work. So Questing Beast is definitely great for attacking, but I think I don't have the luxury of just not holding up anything. I'm gonna tap like this. This also beats like Jide. I guess Collector Ouphe also beats Jide, so I don't have to worry about that, or Shuko, so... Maybe keeping up more than just Scavenging Ooze is what I should have been doing, but there's nothing I can really do. I guess actually Dryad Militant does it as well. Maybe Dryad Militant was better. Recruiter, okay. This is fine. Nomads, okay. No attacks, alright. It's nothing really good to eat, because yeah. I have 5 cards left. Hex Drinker. Well, now's a pretty good time. Okay. I think we just attack with everything. Only the True Name can block the Questing Beast, so they're kind of dead to rights with the Questing Beast and the Scryb Ranger being 5 damage. So then they can block... I guess they can just block with Recruiters and keep the Cephalid around, so that's not great. I think I have to just attack with the Questing Beast. I guess I can attack with the Questing Beast and the Scryb Ranger because the Exalted doesn't mean much with the True Name. Yeah, I can bounce a land, but I can also untap if I want to. I don't think I really care about untapping, so I'm just going to, yeah, use this now. Return Savannah. Play Savannah. Attack with Questing Beast and Scryb Ranger. At least this gets in 1 damage. Because, yeah, if I attack with everything, they can use the 2 Recruiters to block lethal. Go to 1, 3. Go to 1, and then untap and just play the little dude. Brainstorm's fine. Fetch is kind of scary. Swords, rough. Is that just it? I think it is. Yeah, maybe I should have gone and got a Dryad Militant instead of the Qasali Pridemage. That's probably correct because Collector Ouphe is already hitting all artifacts and enchantments, so I should have just gone for another piece of removal for the Dread Return. But at least we can see what's happening here. Yeah, there's Dread Return. Rough. Because, yeah, I don't think this does anything. Yeah. Rough. Alright, we got 7 minutes to win. I probably want to bring in the Palace Jailer. I don't mind that. I also don't mind the Crypt. I think Ramunap's probably a little bit too slow, and second Thalia can come out. Yeah. Deafening Silence is interesting, but I think this is fine. What was the little minus 50 pressed? I'm not too sure. A little bit slow, but I don't mind it. Turn 2 Thalia, turn 3 Scavenging Ooze. Pond is okay. Collector Ouphe is nice. Let's go for Savannah. Thalia. Tundra's okay. Attack first. And then probably Skoos here. Actually, Collector Ouphe is pretty nice. Looks like they have... Yeah. Pretty happy to waste land in response, and then just 6. Oh, very cool. Yeah, you get them as a, I believe, pieces to deal with. You get them for watching, viewing, a few things, which is pretty cool. I want to play Skoos there because I want to hold up the green mana for both Sword and also Scavenging Ooze. True name's pretty good. I think here, just for mana reasons, I want to start dealing with some of their creatures. Library. I'm going to go for Knight and then pass. No attacks. Okay. Oh, surgical's quite nice. Alright, let's go for Fiend Artisan. And probably just start going after their mana, to be frank. I could also play Sylvan Library. Maybe that's better. Yeah. We are at 5 minutes. Zenith points, know your place. Okay. Didn't play around this. Probably should have, to be fair. Oh, that's his Oracle. Can they win otherwise? Is it correct just to surgical here? Or do we wait? Yeah, I definitely want to get Cradle and then see what happens. I could also just hit Dread Return, correct? The issue is also my clock. Hey, I've done that before. I think here I do just want to surgical Thassa's Oracle so I can just get this over and done with and then save clock for actually beating face because I'm at 4 minutes. Hey Saito, help. Hope you're well. Congratulations again on your win and write-up. Very cool. They're going to Dread Return here. I guess I should surgical now because with the trigger on the stack, they can then do it. But if they have like force, then it's just game anyway. Oh, definitely hitting this. And that's the last one. Okay. Now it's going to 6. Alright. Let's get this happening. Ah, nice. Put on top, put on top. Float a green. Cradle quest. I think here I definitely want to try to wasteland them off their Underground Sea because I know they have Plague Engineer, which could be a little bit of an issue. Nice. Okay, they're just going to concede, which is kind of cool. But pretty close. We got the 3-2, which is nice. And here is the list. The Marrow Shards were a little bit of a hit and miss. I don't think they're good enough, but it was kind of cool to at least have them in and try them out. And you know, we came up against a few decks that it's probably okay against, but I think there's better options, and I think it might just be Path to Exile number 3 in CJ, as Jack said. Yeah, cutting it really fine on that game. But I think as well, I just played a little bit too slow on game 2, where I thought I was playing conservatively and then just tapped out when I shouldn't have, which is pretty rough. But that is Magic sometimes. But yeah, 3-2 is not too bad. Elves is pretty tough. It's going to take a lot of luck on your end and a lot of unlucky draws on their end to take it down, without some real heavy sideboard options. And the other loss was... I'm trying to think. I think it was something. Hey, Duckler, thanks for the cheers. Very cool. Yeah, I think the best play was definitely the turn 1 against lands, which was turning off their Mox Diamond so they couldn't even pay for their own Tabernacle trigger on Elvish Reclaimer, which is very cool. But yeah, I think this list has a little bit of room to move. I think that it could splash black, and then we could play Plague Engineer as a target for Fiend Artisan as well, which is cool. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe that's just better than Marrow Shards, to be fair. I think that makes a lot of sense. If you're just going to be dealing 1 damage, you might as well just try to deal 1 damage across the board to most things. A huge thank you to all those who followed and subbed tonight. That's very cool. If you want to watch this video or this stream, you can find it on my YouTube channel at YouTube/Dugs on Twitch. If you want to reach me on Twitter, you can also find me at Twitter/Dugs on Twitch. You can also find me on the Green Sun Zenith, which is a Legacy Maverick dedicated website. That's really it. I think this deck definitely has some room to move. I think Renegade Rallier is fine. I think it's great value with Fiend Artisan, but I'm not sure on the double up of Voice Resurgence. I think that could be broken up. Hey, Darklad, you're more than welcome. All the best with your exams. Who else is streaming? Hopefully there's someone else that I can reach out to. Gucci, Riley. I don't believe Cherryman plays Legacy. Oh, is it Legacy? No, it's not Legacy, but pretty close. Alright, I'm going to send you guys over to Cherryman, because he looks like he's playing something pretty cool. It looks like Grixis in Modern. But yeah, a huge thank you once again. If you do want a notification when I go live, you can follow me on Twitch, which of course is free. But yeah, that's me. Hope you guys have a nice week. I'll be back on Sunday night for another Maverick League for sure, which should be pretty fun. Cherry. All right. Thank you again. We'll see you guys next time.